Hi, and welcome to this video tutorial in which we're going to learn how to insert data into a table. So this is part of a series of videos where we look at the beginnings of learning SQL within SQL Server. If you want to look at all the other videos, you can subscribe and then that will enable you to look at the playlist for all the videos in this series. I've also got all of the videos available on my website, www.padsresearch.co.uk. That is physics, aviation and data science. And you can find a full list of the videos there also. So let's start by looking at the syntax. So in order to insert data into a table, we've got the syntax up here. So we say that we'd like to insert into, so we need to use those keywords insert into, and then we need to specify what table we want to insert records into. So we would give the table name here. Now, optionally, we can also specify the columns that we want to insert records into. So here I've listed all the columns. We can put column 1, 2, and 3. And that's got to line up with the values that we want to insert. Now, we don't have to specify that. If we miss out all the columns, then it's going to assume that you want to insert all of the columns in the same order that they appear in the table. If you only want to insert a couple of columns or perhaps in a different order, then you do need to specify the columns that you want to insert. So the next thing you need to specify is what values you want to insert. So we need to use the keyword values, and then we can have an open and close bracket here. And now we can insert a row that we want to insert. So value 1, 2, and 3 will be inserted into the corresponding column 1, 2, and 3. And that's the basic syntax of how we can insert data into a table. So let's have a look at some examples of this now. So here we're going to insert some data into, and then we specify the table that we want to insert the data into, which is the product table. I'm specifying all the columns that I want to insert data into, and then finally I specify the values, and we've got an open and close bracket there. So that will insert one row with the values test1 into the column name, and then it will insert the value 5 million into the column product number, and so on. So you explicitly set the values that you want to insert into the table, and they need to line up with the columns, and you can specify the column list here. So the next way of inserting some data is to sort of copy and paste that data. So we can take some data from another table. So here we're going to select some data from the product table, and we're going to insert that selected data into, again, the product table. So here we're saying we want to insert data into production.product. These are the columns where we want to insert data, and we have an open and close bracket. And the data that we want to insert is this set of data here. So rather than specifying an explicit set of values, we can specify another set of data by writing another select statement. So this in effect copies and pastes data from one table into another. And that's the basic structure of how we can insert data. Now there is one more way that we can insert data, and that will create the table at the same time. Now I've got that video in another series of videos called A Complete Course in SQL with SQL Server. So if you're interested in that, then you can click the link at the end of this video. In the next video, we're going to look at how we can update data within a table. So update values which are already in a table and change them to something else.